half it out a little bit to the right. You have to get a little bit closer attempt to win that game.
And finally, the Chiefs beat the Browns 37-21. Patrick Mahomes threw for 3 touchdowns and 375 yards in the win. Nick, what impressed you most about this win?
Listen, Pat Mahomes had a pretty typical Patrick Mahomes game. 375 yards, 3 touchdowns. The one interception was a Hail Mary at the end of the half. It didn't affect anything. But one play specifically stood out to me, which is about the embarrassment of riches Pat Mahomes has. Because every quarterback in the league could have made the play I want to show you right here. It ended up being a 50-yard touchdown pass, but a little misdirection that you don't see, and then Kareem Hunt makes 2 guys miss and reminds you he was the rushing champ last year. Like, the fact that the Chiefs, they have Tyreek Hill, they have Travis Kelce, they have Sammy Watkins, and their best player, their best offensive player might be this guy. What an absolute advantage they have on everyone before the game starts. You can't focus on one person. You can't focus on one scheme. And so Pat Mahomes has been great, and might be the league MVP. But plays like that are not because Pat Mahomes is great. It's because the personnel around him is so outstanding, and that's what stood out to me yesterday.
And also, they're the most dangerous offense because of, when you look at their 4th best offensive player, who do you think that is?
Sammy Watkins.
Okay, let's go down any other NFL roster. And you tell me their 4th best offensive player, and you tell me if he's as good as Sammy Watkins.
Right.
And I'll tell you, no. You could see that last night in the Rams game. They didn't have. Kupp was a nice little option and everything. But, he's not Sammy Watkins. New England, we saw that. They do a little hodgepodge there. The coach got to scheme those guys to be able to get them open. Josh Gordon's probably their 3rd right now, and he's still not up to full strength. So their ability to be elite, tight end, elite, best tight end in pro football this year. And we know Tyreek Hill, one of the best 3 wide receivers they've had in football.
Well, that's the key.
Hunt, the running attack, and his passing skills coming out of the backfield, so explosive. If you throw the ball to any one of those guys, outside of Kelce, the only thing that can stop them is the goal line. They can score almost anywhere on the field.
If you said the 4th best is Watkins, but if you just go to their top 3 weapons outside of the quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, all of them are in the discussion for best in the league this year.
Yes.
They might not be at the top of the list, but Kareem Hunt has been one of the 3 best running backs this year. Kelce's been one of the 3 best tight ends. Tyreek Hill's been one of the 3 best wide receivers. It is, and then you have a quarterback that is just playing at an insane level. This was his 8th straight 300-plus yard passing game.
It's amazing.
He's played 9 games this year. He's got 29 touchdowns. He's on pace for over 5,000 yards. Even in today's NFL, these are insane numbers Pat Mahomes is putting up.
So with all that being said, what, if anything, can hold this team back?
It's their defense. It's their defense and also penalties. They're one of the most penalized teams in pro football. And when you get into a game like last night's game, Pats versus Packers, that was a playoff-type atmosphere. And either turnovers or penalties, they really hurt teams in games like that. When we're trying to separate the best from the best, we played 8 games, so we have enough sample size that they're going to be a penalized team. Yep. Now, how can you be great and be one of the most penalized teams where ultimately you're going to have to face the New England Patriots? That right there, I want to be able to watch that because their defense is good enough. But those penalties at the wrong time, they hurt even good teams.
The penalties are something that is a huge problem, but something you think maybe they can clean up. The thing that concerns me the most is not the penalties, it's the rush defense. I actually think their pass defense, because they have a legitimate pass rush with D40 at a strip sack that was taken away yesterday, Justin Houston will come back at some point. I feel like the secondary is slowly but surely getting a little bit better. But that rush defense, the only reason the Browns didn't gash them more was because they were down so much early that they felt they had to throw the football. If they're in close games, if the Chiefs are in a position at some point this year, which they of course will be, where down 4 points, other team has the ball, got to get a stop. How are you getting that stop if their other team can just run it?
That's why they got to get home field advantage, and that's why it becomes important. What does L. Bell do with Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh's run the ball with Connor. They have Connor and Bell, and we know New England with Sony Michel, they're going to try to run the ball late. So those matchups become important. That's why they have to get home field advantage to play those games at home.
All right, we're going to move on to the Panthers, who kept their offense rolling, beating the Bucs 42-28. Cam Newton threw for just under 200